If you want to speak at the meeting, please sign in. Public comments will be held in minutes. Public comments will not be a question and answer from the board. It is reserved for that, public commentary. During board discussion, I would ask that each member refrain from speaking until recognized by the mayor to maintain order. Board members will speak one at a time, will not be able to speak to that subject again until all members have been given full opportunity. I would ask the audience to please be respectful and not speak out during the meeting to allow that the business of the city be done orderly and efficiently. Speakers must state their name, home address, and organization he or she represents, if any, and the subject of the presentation before they are permitted to proceed. Speakers may offer objective comments about city operations and programs that concern them. Speakers are asked to refrain from using names of personnel or names of persons connected with the city, particularly when lodging a complaint. Speakers will not be permitted to engage in gossip, make defamatory comments, or use abusive or vulgar language. The mayor may have the authority to terminate remarks of any individual who is disruptive or does not adhere to board rules. The board will take all public comments, again, under advisement, but the board will not respond during public comments. Pastor Orlando Hughes here. Pastor Ken Usleton, would you want to come pray for our city? The prayer we followed, please stand. Prayer we followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
As we gather among ourselves, we are humbled by the presence of the Creator. As you have blessed our city, its leaders, and all its residents, may we bend in the winds of your blow to the goodness of your world. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Dagan,
Here.
Ms. Huffman,
Here.
Mr. Bell,
Here.
Mr. Ford,
Here.
Mr. Peralez, Mr. McGee,
Here.
Mr. Lowry,
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Need a motion to second to approve the agenda.
So I move.
And a motion and a second by Mr. Smith. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any disapproved?
No.
Ayes have it. Need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes of June 8th, 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lowry,
Second.
second, Mr. McGee. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes do have it. Okay, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla presentation by Mr. Luis Santos, the flotilla commander, sir.
Good evening. My name is Luis Santos. Hi, everybody. I don't have my back turned on. Yeah, they already know who I am last week. My name is Luis Santos, and as many of you may not know, I'm the commander for the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 15-3, which is in Shelby County, Memphis, 2AW Willis Avenue. And I just wanted to talk to you guys today about some of the things that the Coast Guard Auxiliary can do for you. Raise your hand if you like going on boats, fishing, if you own a boat, been on boats, love boats, great, love boats here. Okay, well, then you need to know who I am. The Coast Guard Auxiliary does a great job at keeping boaters safe on the water. That's the entire purpose of our existence. We've been around since 1939. We've been in the Shelby County area since 1963. And we aid over 15,000 boaters in distress every year. We save over 500 lives on the water every year. And we do it all for free. Just like you have the volunteer fire department, think of us as the equivalent of the U.S. Coast Guard. We're the official uniformed auxiliary of the U.S. Coast Guard. We don't have an age limit. We don't have any medical limitations. We don't have any boot camp. They're just ordinary citizens that volunteer to put on a uniform and part of something bigger than themselves. We perform boating safety checks. So we'll inspect your vessel. We'll come to your house, we'll come to your garage, we'll come wherever you are. We'll inspect your vessel free of charge. We'll give you a vessel safety decal. We will teach boating education classes anywhere you guys need. We've taught them at churches, we've taught them at schools, we've taught them at the station, we've taught them at yacht clubs, and we provide you with a boater education card. You can actually be licensed to go out on the water. Coast Guard Auxiliary is a really great tool. I want to see it expand into the city of Millington because I believe it can do a lot of good for the people of Millington and the people of Shelby County. Actively recruiting. We meet on the third Saturday of every month at 10 a.m. at Coast Guard Auxiliary Station Memphis, and by the Basket Pyramid, just by the river. And I'll take any questions if anybody has any questions. And also I do have this fact sheet here. I don't know if I have enough copies. However, if you need to get a hold of me, if I run out of copies, please reach out to Frankie Bacon, who has my contact information. I'd love to get in contact with you guys and see what we can do for the city of Wilmington. Thank you.
Thank you. City Beautiful Yards of the Month.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. We are City Beautiful. I'm Ann Turner, and I'm committee member of the City Beautiful, and this is our chair, Ms. Marie Thomas. We are so excited to recognize our Yard of the Month for July. We are so excited. We had over 100 likes and comments on our Yard of the Month, and they are here this evening. And we'd like for you to join us in congratulating them for such a beautiful yard and the dedication and hard work that they put into their landscape. We have Tracy and Ken Smith, 7978 Harold Street. Mr. Smith has been in the yard all day today finishing up the work, And when I went by to see them, they were out of town previously when we went by. So we went by the second time to present, and they had to come off of their trip so that he can finish that yard. So we are so proud of him and taking pride in maintaining his yard. Ms. Tracy? She wants to take pictures.
All right. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing in this congratulatory moment with us to Mr. Smith and Ms. Smith. I'll read the certificate of presentation. And both of them read the same, okay? The Millington City Beautiful Commission Yard of the Month. This certificate is proudly presented to Ken and Tracy Smith for your dedication, hard work, and pride in maintaining such a beautiful and welcoming property. This award acknowledges the time and effort you have invested in enhancing the appearance of your home and contributing to the beauty of the city of Millington, awarded on July 20th, 2026. Signed by myself, Marie Thomas, and Mayor Larry David. Congratulations. And then we also want to acknowledge our recipients with the gift. And come on.
Thank you. Everything in that yard did come from Billington, whether it's Tractor Supply or Lowe's. Stuff like it, a lot of years ago, than 5 years ago, so thank you.
Beautiful.
Our next winner for Yard of the Month for July is Miss Lopez Navita. Not Tabby Dot. Not Tabby Dot. She resides at 7980 Quinn Circle. She shares a yard with a family member who's back there as well. They work so hard on their yard. They have a beautiful yard as well.
Picture.
Her, I know that her, come on. Her husband, Mr. Lopez, worked tirelessly on that yard. And, he's not with us today, but this is a testament to his legacy and the work that he's shared and done. Very well.
Thank you so much. That is our yards of the month for the month of July. We look forward to coming out in the subdivision and seeing some more beautiful yards. From City Beautiful, thank you for keeping our city beautiful.
You.
Public comments, first up is, what's spelled, Katie Ratton?
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen and citizens of Millington and Shelby County. I'm Katie Ratton, and I'm running to be your next judge of Criminal Court Division 8. This is a Shelby County-wide election. There are 7 of us on this ballot. I'm the only one on this ballot who has ever been a prosecutor. I'm endorsed by Shelby County Sheriff's Deputies Association, Methodist Police Association. I've also been a public defender in juvenile court, so I have experience on both sides. I'm asking for your vote. Early voting has already begun, obviously. I also have the temperament to be a judge. If you ask Mr. Smith, I believe I kept him from being held in contempt a couple times. Trials together.
Ask the trial part.
I'm also a mother of 3. My husband and I chose Shelby County to raise our kids, so I do have a very invested interest in the safety and success of our community. Early voting started July 17th, it runs through August 1st. Election day is August 6th, and I would really appreciate your vote for Criminal Court Division 8. Once again, it is a county-wide election, and I do have material. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Pugh. Wanda Marcello.
Hi. Wanda Marcello, address, I plead the fifth. Just wanted to come up here and say, I totally respect what you said earlier about, being bad comments or rumors. But, in September 9th, when I came up here and I told you that my property was done illegally, y'all did nothing about it because y'all had went into a real estate contract with the man a little over 30 days after he rescinded it. And you kept it going and going. And Frankie has not only did a political hack, and the reason why I come here, I'm for a peacemaker. God had a plan. I go to pass my house, I'm talking to the lady who bought it, and I'm telling her about the garage door and the stuff in there, how I put hard duct and the air conditioning's not totally broken. You just get a fan for right now. And how the real estate agent's saying she's got to put a whole new roof because of 2 shingles. That's a 30-year roof. Not going to go into the details. But I had a neighbor across the street's daughter-in-law come screaming at me, get out of here. You have a restraining order on you. You have a restraining order. The rumors, just like Wanda Halbert, that Frankie has said about me is crazy. And y'all know what y'all all did was fraud. Every one of y'all signed that real estate contract. It's fraud. I just come up here to tell the truth. My attorneys, my representation is higher than anything. Can't throw him out, can't fire him, and he has kicked the devil's butt. But you need to also tell the secretary, she doesn't make the rules. And I know what my constitutional rights, when my son comes in here to sign for me, I'm usually parking or I'm out of breath. And others.
Thank you. Mr.
So, like I said, the train is on the move. If there's rules to follow, y'all need to follow them too, and you haven't. None of y'all reported this. None of you. You threw me out of meetings for telling the truth to cover it. Imagine Frankie stabbing you in the back, thinking he's helping you, and he turns around and steals your property.
Thank you, Ms. Marcello.
What rules do y'all follow? You stole from a widow, Chef Joe, as you put articles in. Ma'am, sir, if this is the time, it was the time a year and a half ago when they stole my property. I'm just getting it out to the public. I know y'all don't care. Ladies and gentlemen.
Motion and second to close public comments. A motion, Mr. McGee, a second, Mr. Lowry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Comments are closed. Next. Open public hearing, ordinance 2026-12, amending the official zoning map of the city of Millington to approve the Astoria Square plan development. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Oh, public hearing, I just opened it, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Move to.
Seeing that we have,
Move to
I'll
close
second
public
Alderman.
hearing.
we're closing them, yes. I got a motion and a second to close. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Come on, don't confuse me. All right. All right, here we go. Consideration of ordinance 2026-12, amending the official zoning map for the city of Millington to approve the Astoria Square plan development. This is the final reading. I need a motion and a
So moved.
second. I'm going to motion Mr. McGee,
Second.
second Mr. Lowry. Ms. Finley?
Okay, this is second reading on an 82-acre mixed-use community located along Navy Road and Veterans Parkway. The revised plan includes up to 200 single-family homes, 120 townhomes, and future commercial development along Navy Road. The development dedicates more than 17 acres to parks, green space, trails, and community amenities. Plans include a mini green line, common open spaces, and pedestrian-friendly streets.
Any questions, discussion?
Is there anyone here that can answer any questions?
There is someone here that can answer questions.
I have a question about the townhomes that are going to be built. Years ago, when this plan was originally put before us, there were gonna be several townhomes, and townhomes were going to be built to sell. And I'm wondering if those townhomes are going to be built for sale or built as an apartment community.
We don't know at this time, but the fact is the townhomes remain the same and we're showing them on individual lots to be able to be sold.
Okay, so they're built to be sold, and then someone could buy and rent it, I guess, I'm sure.
Right.
Thank
No
Any questions?
Michelle Yee with DP Design Studio, 1350 Concourse Avenue, Memphis.
Ms.
I
Huffman?
just had a question. I think I asked this at the planning commission, because this is coming as a recommendation from the planning commission. It's for our attorney, but I believe we determined, this doesn't change anything with the tax increment financing, and there's still time underneath that for it to be built as originally. There's no amendments that need to be made to the TIF, I guess is for clarification.
Not that I'm aware of. I've had discussions with the IDB attorney, and staff's internally discussed it. We don't think this is materially changes anything from the city's position. They have the right to maybe change if they want to try to reset the time, if they want to bring the TIF back. And potentially the amounts could change somewhat, but that's more on the developer than the city at this point, since they're doing slightly different development. But I don't think there's anything from the city's perspective we need to do with it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Lowry?
It's not a question, it's just a statement that this will be in phases, which is good. The people need to understand that there will be several different phases to this, property, and it's beautiful. It will be beautiful when it's over, when it's finished with walking spaces and public areas. We're hoping it's going to be a really good, finish.
Any other question? Yes, sir, Mr. McGee?
So what phase will go in first?
There is a phasing map that is provided in the, try to.
I'm asking what's included in it.
The first phase,
More.
because of, the way that the utilities have to be run, this existing street, this is where phase one will go, just south of the YMCA. So phase one will include, homes that are directly coming off of this street.
So that'll be homes, not condos.
Homes and townhomes.
Townhomes, single family homes, right there.
So basically the portion between East and West Navy?
Just along the street. So not the infill.
Thank you, man.
Thanks. Any other questions?
Thanks, Mr. Lowry.
Gordon? Roll call, please. Thank you, Ms. Yee.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
Aye.
Mr. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. McGee?
Aye.
Mr. Lowry?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Huffman?
Aye.
Let's have it. Consideration, next is consideration of ordinance 2026-13, amending Title 14 zoning and land use control. Chapter 24, the sign ordinance of the Millington Municipal Code. It is the reading. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Smith.
Second.
Second, Mr. Ford. Ms. Finley?
Okay, this is just updating our sign ordinance to align with the current Tennessee laws governing political signs. Currently, our ordinance says signs cannot be out more than 30 days before early voting. That's just the wording. In practice, we do confirm with state law, which is 60 days, so we're just changing the wording on that.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. McGee?
Aye.
Mr. Lowry?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Huffman?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
Consideration of ordinance 2026-14, amending the Millington Municipal Code, Title 16, Streets and Sidewalks, Chapter 3, Sidewalk Repairs, to add a sidewalk, repair assistance program. This is the first reading.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second, Mr. Ford. Ms. Huffman, Mr. Ford is the second. Ms. Finley?
This ordinance is establishing a sidewalk repair assistance program for eligible owner-occupied homeowners. To qualify, applicants must have owned and occupied their home as their primary residence for at least 5 years and meet the same eligibility requirements used by the state of Tennessee, Shelby County, and City of Millington property tax relief. Applicants must have either received a city sidewalk repair notice or completed qualifying repairs and can provide documentation providing ownership, occupancy, income, and repair costs. It also allows qualified homeowners who have completed eligible sidewalk repairs on or after August 1st to apply for reimbursement subject to verification that the work met city standards and funding availability. We anticipate this program to begin in early 2027.
Any questions, board?
I think she said it, but what I was gonna ask her, make sure that's clear, is if you already received a notice and
Yes.
you are eligible,
You must have
it's
received it.
retroactive, right?
Yes,
But it
yes.
applies to ones that have already been sent, not ones.
If
that
they meet the
Right.
qualifications, yes.
So,
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. McGee?
Aye.
Mr. Lowry?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Huffman,
Aye.
Mr. Bell,
Aye.
Mr. Ford.
Consideration of resolution 31-2026, authorizing Mayor Larry Dagan to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the city of Millington by and through the Millington Police Department with the Millington Municipal School District regarding school resource officer services for the school year 2026-2027. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second. Motion, Mr. Smith, second, Mr. Lowry. Ms. Finley.
Hey, this is just our annual agreement with the schools to provide a school resource officer. Currently, we had a SRO at Millington Primary, with those costs are reimbursed by the state of Tennessee. We also have a second school resource officer at the Millington Early Learning Academy, and that's funded entirely through the city's general fund. And we're hoping to expand the program this year to 2 additional school resource officers through grant funding. Those positions would be at the high school, I believe.
High school, and then one at the high school, one at the intermediate school.
Yes.
Any questions, board? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of resolution 32-2026, authorizing the city of Millington to participate in the Safety Partners Matching Grant Program through public entity partners. Motion and second.
So moved.
Mr. Bell, a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Lowry. Ms. Finley.
A PEP's matching grant program provides matching funds for projects that improve workplace safety, reduce risk, and improve employee safety. If we're approved, city admin intends to use this as a 50-50 matching grant, and this year we want to purchase approximately 10 new ballistic vests for the police department.
Questions for it? Seeing there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of resolution 33-2026, approving award of bid 2027-2 Oak Park Tennis Courts. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. McGee.
Second.
Second, Mr. Lowry. Ms. Finley?
Okay, so this bid, we tore down the tennis courts and now we're rebuilding them, new and improved. The recommended award includes the base project and 4 additive alternates, which include lighting, a new sidewalk connection to Easley Avenue, a concrete drainage flume, and wind springs for the court fencing. Total recommended award is approximately $694,000. Our grant with Shelby County Housing was for $600,000, but we feel positive that we're going to get it completely funded through Shelby County. If not, we do have the funds in our account.
Any discussion, board?
And this is where our high school tennis team will be
Absolutely.
utilizing those courts and have the ability to walk from the high school with the new sidewalks, is
Yes,
that correct?
That's a good point. Anything else? Board? See none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of resolution 34-2026, authorizing Larry Dagan in his capacity of mayor of the city of Millington to enter into a lease agreement with Alliance Healthcare Services for the property located at 8133 Wilkinsville Road. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Mr. McGee with motion,
Second.
the second, Ms. Huffman. Ms. Finley.
Hey, this is a lease agreement for the former crisis center property at 8133 Wilkinsville Road. The city will make the facility available at no cost, so Alliance Healthcare Services can establish a youth mental health resource center serving Millington Municipal School students and their families. Operations are anticipated to begin this fall. There was some question regarding zoning. but Alliance will be providing public services on behalf of the city at this location, which is allowed in the current zone.
Questions, board? Discussion?
We have a representative already slated to be there in the fall. Do we know any details about
Amy,
what services they're gonna be providing and?
Director Collier can answer that.
Hey y'all, Amy Collier, Director of Education and Recreation at 7942 Church Street. Is the question is staffing at that location, is that correct?
Yes.
So the staffing will be up to Alliance Healthcare. I will say, this is a public service provided on behalf of the city of Millington, that this property will become available for that public service. And that the staffing will be up to Alliance Healthcare. I think you might be asking in regards to a position that has been vacant in our school system, that Alliance appoints this person to be a service to Millington Municipal Schools. And from our conversations with Alliance, that vacancy there have been an offer made. So that position should be filled this week. If not, there's another person in line to fill that position. But I'll also comment that the lease that we're trying to establish as a city for this space creates an opportunity for additional Alliance Healthcare staff to be at that location, more than just one person.
Do they know they're responsible for the upkeep and the maintenance of the property?
That is part of the lease, yes.
Any other discussion? Thank you, Director Collier. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes do have it. Board reports. Sutton?
Sure, so the planning commission, usually I tell you to show up next Monday for that, but if you just hang on for a few minutes tonight, you can actually hear about the new TCAP facility that's coming, as well as a few signed permits and updates from our, planning and economic development staff. Also, we do have a number of folks sitting in our audience who have been serving our city well this summer as interns and fellows. And so I don't know all of them by name. I just know they've been hardworking both indoor and outdoor around our city. So Mayor, could we ask them to at least stand?
Absolutely. You guys stand.
We had the opportunity to meet them at one of our Friday work sessions, and they're all in college studying a variety of public service, public policy, legal, political science type degrees. And if you're interested on Friday, you're welcome as the public to join us, because many of them have ideas from their work this summer on how our city could improve, be it future ordinances, improvements to existing ordinances, things they're researching as part of their work, and they're going to be presenting at 1 o'clock here in our chamber. So if you're available Friday afternoon and want to hear from the future of our community, come on by. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
Yeah, Millington Airport, board will be tomorrow at 3:30 at the airport. If anybody wants to come out there, do that.
Thank you. Mr. Ford?
A few back to school notes. The marching band will be performing at the stadium at 7 p.m. this Friday. And the teachers return to campus next Monday, the 27th, to get ready for another school year. And the convocation for the Millington schools will be held Tuesday the 4th at 8:30 a.m. in the Performing Arts Center. First day of class for the students will be Monday, August the 10th. The school starts times are the middle schools at 7, intermediate at 8, primary at 8:15, and the early learning academy at 8. So you can check the students' website for any information to start the school year, and we are prayerful for another successful school year for our school system.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. McGee?
Alderman Morales asked me to share that there's a reading program going on in the library, and the opportunity for young people to continue to read, be encouraged to read during the summer. There's less loss if that happens. City Beautiful had a great turnout, volunteers placing mulch around the oaks along Raleigh Millington and Jack Huffman. We have ID'd additional trees for fall mulch. So your trees may get mulched, you just don't know it yet. Current project is a campaign to beautify the aesthetics of the Welcome to Millington sign. And I think we could get a couple of those families that got awarded tonight to help us with beautifying those signs. September will be Neighbor's Choice for Yard of the Month. If you have a neighbor that you want to recommend, submit that address to us. If you have to visit our Facebook page, we want you to get involved. Please check it out beginning next week for more details. And we're always looking for volunteers. Keep an eye out on Facebook page for opportunities. The next meeting is Tuesday, August the 1st, 5:15 at Millington Public Library on Navy Road.
Mr. Lowry?
IDB liaison, I'd like to talk about tonight, the TCAT aviation facility. It's moving forward, and we'll move forward again tonight. Planning Commission, and MDF, which is most dependable fountains, it's going to become the most dependable product. These people build fountains that are all over the world, a lot of welding and whatnot. They're going to be located down at what I still call the Ingram Micro areas down there. I know Ingram Micro is not there anymore, but most of you will know what I'm talking about. That's where they're going to be locating a 10-acre site. And they're moving along tonight, again, at the Planning Commission, and we're really excited about what's going on with IDB, and just hoping everything is working well with our Planning Commission tonight. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Mr. Smith?
Housing authorities moving forward on a roof project. They have to get 10 new roofs. They had a bidding process open a couple of weeks ago. I think that's closed now. They're vetting those bids now. Hope to have something in front of the board for board approval in a couple of weeks. So we're going to get 10 new roofs at the housing authority.
That it? I've got a couple of things I'd like to share. On June 12th, I was invited to the Philippine Independence Day celebration, at which time the Philam Group gave a $1,500 contribution to the Millington Crisis Center. In fact, just recently, and I think we have the management team here, Abandoned Antiques, the Traveling Vietnam War wall came through Millington. An amazing event. I was pretty moved by the wall. I found one of our classmates' fathers there, still is missing in action. He was a pilot in the Vietnam War, but I also was moved to the point of having the history of the Vietnam War put in a plaque. And if you'd like, please visit in the lobby over here of City Hall, and you'll see that rendition. And I think everybody would be moved by it.
I'm not trying to interrupt the meeting, but you can get at maybe for if you have a restaurant. I had a table with the Vietnam with the back of the chairs at POW, and it's the plate in the front, so you can get that for the gift.
Thank you.
Not trying to interrupt anything, just give me.
Of course not. Of course not. Okay.
That's a good thing.
On July 15th, I need to share this as well. On July 15th, 2026, the Shelby County 911 Board successfully transitioned the City of Millington's Public Safety Answering Port, the PSAP, to the Motorola Solutions Vesta NXT Cloud Call Handling System, making Millington the first municipality in Shelby County to complete the upgrade. The project was fully funded by the Shelby County 911 Board at no cost to the city, including all technology, hardware, software, and dispatcher training. Vesta NXT is a cloud-based next-generation 911 platform that provides faster, more reliable emergency call processing, enhanced location information, real-time call transcription, language translation, and greater system resiliency. The remaining Shelby County PSAPs are expected to transition to the new system over the next 18 months as part of a countywide deployment. The Shelby County 911 Board has also expressed interest in partnering with the city to help fund the addition of a dispatch center within the planned new fire station, further strengthening Millington's public safety infrastructure. I move, I need a motion in a second.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
move. Next board.
I'm gonna make an announcement.
Does everyone know the batting order?
Okay.
What is the batting order?
For those who are here for attendance of the Zoning Board of Appeals, that board will convene at 6:05. That board will convene at 6:05. For those who are here for the Planning Commission, that board or that commission will convene after the conclusion of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Thank you. 6:05.
This Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. May we have roll call, please?
Board Member Allen,
Here.
Board Member Beckham.
Here.
Board Member Hurd. Board Member Purser,
Here.
and Board Member Spearman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we first thing is approval of the agenda. Need a motion second, please. Approve. Mr. Beckman approve. Bill second. Newsound second.
Second.
Second, we got, okay. All in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of agenda is approved. All right, then next thing we're moving to is approval of minutes from June 15th, 2026 meeting. Hear a motion? Spearman, second. Mr. Beckman, okay. Should we just do a vote or do we have to roll call on this guy?
No, you don't have to do a roll call. Just
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, we're open for public comments from the audience, and nobody signed up, so we're gonna skip right over that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may, item 6 is ethics training, August 31st, 6 p.m., Baker Community Center. Please make plans to attend. This is open to our Industrial Development Board members, our Planning Commission members who must attend, and then our Board of Zoning Appeals members as well. We'll feed you, and we have a great speaker lined up for the training. We look forward to having everyone for ethics training and fellowship and a bit of food and fun. So again, at 6 p.m. on August 31st. And that's a Monday evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is application for zoning variance submitted by Sean Fowler, Bayless Greenhouse. Just need a motion and second to get on the floor. And we'll let staff give us comments and then we'll go with there. So moved. So moved, Mr. Beckham. Do I have a second? Second. Second, Mr. Allen. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Application for a zoning variance submitted by Sean Fowler, Bayless Greenhouse. The request is to increase their parking by installing a gravel parking area. The subject property is located at 8323 US Highway 51 North, Millington, Tennessee, just north of Abandoned Antiques. More specifically, parcel M0115000788C. The property is zoned PC Plan Commercial. The applicant is proposing additional parking. In this case, the zoning ordinance Title 14-1203 subsection E requires parking to be either asphalt or concrete. The primary building for this location does have existing paved parking. The requested gravel parking is roughly 9,800 square feet and encompasses a gravel entry that connects to the paved parking area. The applicant will provide parking bumpers for each parking space along with a landscape buffer along Highway 51. The total number of parking spaces was not provided at the time of application. Variance criteria in accordance with ordinance. Grounds for a variance. The Board of Zoning Appeals shall not grant variance unless it makes findings based upon evidence presented as follows. 1. The physical surrounding shape or topographic conditions of the specific property involved would result in a particular hardship on the owner as distinguished from a mere inconvenience, and the strict application of this zoning ordinance were carried out. Staff finds that there are no physical conditions associated with the subject property that would hinder the applicant from providing the required paved parking. Criteria 2. The conditions upon which the petition for a variance is based would not be applicable, generally, to other property within the same district. Staff finds that there are no unique conditions or circumstances specific to the subject property that would be applicable in the planned commercial district. Criteria 3. The variance will not authorize activities in a zoning district other than those permitted by the zoning ordinance. Staff finds that the request will not authorize activities not permitted in the zoning ordinance. Criteria 4. Financial returns alone shall not be considered as a basis for granting a variance. The applicant has not shared any information in the application to believe that this is due to a financial hardship. Variances cannot be granted based on monetary or financial considerations. 5. The alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person having an interest in the property after the effective date of the zoning ordinance. The subject property has no limiting factors that would not allow for the appropriate parking infrastructure to be installed. 6. That granting the variance request will not confer on this applicant any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district. Staff finds that granting this variance would be allowing special privileges in the planned commercial district. 7. The variance is a minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of land, building, and structure. And again, staff finds that the variance is the minimum variance that will make possible reasonable use for the business. 8. The granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the area in which the property is located. Staff agrees that with the proper buffers and landscaping screening, it would not be detriment to the surrounding areas. However, maintenance and off-season issues still remain. 9. The proposed variance will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties, substantially increase the congestion in the public streets, increase the danger of fire, endanger the public safety, or substantially diminish or impair property values within the area. Staff finds that the variance request would negatively affect property values in the area. 10. The variance is not based on the fact of non-conforming use of neighboring land, structures, or buildings in the same district. Staff finds that the applicant is not petitioning the board based on legal non-conforming uses within similar zones. And finally, 11. Under no circumstances shall the Board of Appeals grant a variance to allow use not permissible under the terms of the zoning ordinance in the district involved, or any use expressly by implication prohibited by the terms of the zoning ordinance in said district. And that does not apply in this particular instance. Recommendation: staff finds that the application is complete. However, the application has not provided sufficient evidence to justify or meet the criteria for the requested zoning variance. Staff recommends denial of the variance based upon the required criteria not being fully met. That is our report. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Questions for staff? Is Mr. Dollar here tonight?
Jerry, how did we establish the use of that without doing this ahead of time? Without providing paved parking?
Well, the landscape portion was constructed before the parking was constructed. We had no way of knowing that they were going to lay gravel down before the installation of the landscape portion.
What I think Mr. Beckham's asking, my question was going to be is, how do we give that business to operate there when they didn't have proper parking?
So in this particular case,
operating without paid parking.
Sure. Now, we would not have allowed it without the paved parking. However, the landscape portion of the sales area, if you will, the landscape and the nursery and all the materials, is considered an accessory use to the primary structure in and of itself. So they can have the landscape and accessory structure. In fact, we signed off on the certificate of occupancy, if you will, for the roof structures. But the gravel came later, and that is when we approached the business owner with the non-conforming of the parking area.
Okay.
Is there not gravel already there?
Not to my knowledge.
But there is.
There is gravel there?
There's
Yeah.
gravel there.
There's something there.
That whole park, that whole area is gravel.
They put something down.
They just brought
They
in a
grass
load of
grew up
gravel, we
with it.
haven't spread it yet,
Mhm.
so.
So what are you gonna do, what will happen in that instance? I mean, if we find that they're not compliant and they've already started pouring gravel.
I'm sorry, say,
Okay, they've already started, I just came by there, I mean, you.
right,
If there's some kind of material being spread,
sure.
okay, if it's gravel and we find that they're not in compliance, what happens to them then?
They would need to remove the gravel and come into compliance.
Good. Go and check. There's probably about 5 inches of gravel, 5 or 6 inches of gravel underneath that grass. All the way back. And the reason I know that, we put in a field of flags there, and that's what we ran into when we put the stakes in the ground, was solid gravel. Coles used to use it for parking.
Is that a separate lot, or is it on the same lot? with that?
Same lot.
Same lot.
So if you haven't taken out that gravel, what about the gravel that's underneath?
I can only speak for the gravel that staff has monitored being installed.
So you're aware that some gravel being installed?
Yes.
How is it's different from what we just approved, over on, like, the road? Over here by the ball fields.
Jack up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sandusky, Sandusky Road.
We didn't approve gravel there. Remember, the parking had all the asphalt, and the gravel can't be used for parking of vehicles.
Yeah, it doesn't, but it has a gravel area.
Sure, but it's not used for parking.
Okay. And then how do we distinguish between that and, like the fireworks tank that we approve gravel on the highway?
That's a separate ordinance outside of the zoning ordinance in and of itself that has special conditions that allow you to have gravel.
Is it because the fireworks stand, is only temporary so many times a year?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know why the fireworks ordinance was written the way that it was.
I'm sorry, I had one other question. So I was looking through this the other day. My bigger concern is, like, correct me if I'm wrong, applicants pay to be able to submit these applications, right?
Mhm.
Typically, from other cities I've worked with, they get a better idea from the organization they're submitting their application to, that whether or not they get a feel for if this is gonna be something that's gonna pass before they pay for it, right? I'm kind of concerned because several questions have been asked about what was previously installed and how the parking was set up for even the main portion of this property, being outside of the standards that we have here in the city. So aside from what I think is being asked about what we would do about the pre-existing parking, my other concern is there a means in which we can address not having someone pay $300 for us to say no, because I think that's probably what's gonna happen. Like, is there some way that kind of vetting can take place? Because the parking that was done prior to was not even addressed. The only thing that's been addressed is what's trying to be added. And correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Sure, I can't speak for the 5 inches of gravel that lay under 3 inches of soil where grass is. I can't speak for that. That was done before my time, well in the past. But what I can speak for is the gravel that's being installed right now that is not in conformance with our ordinance. So in order for that to be installed, they have to seek a variance. This body, my staff, is not going to speak for this body here, up here. We're not going to say, well, we think it's going to get denied, or, well, you know, you have a good shot of going through. That's not our place. Our place is to provide technical information for you as a body to make that decision. And it's up to the applicant to provide the appropriate information to staff in order for us to provide all the details to this body for you to make that decision. And that is what the application process is.
I think one of the things that comes up, Jared, is people that work in planning and development, that work in construction, that work in code enforcement, that sort of thing, they know what the requirements of the zoning ordinance are, and that I'm gonna put in a business, I know I've got to have hard surface parking, but everybody doesn't know that. And I think what Willie's bringing up is that information needs to be made available to an applicant when they come in and say, I wanna put a landscape place in on this lot, what do I have to do? Well, in laying that out, instead of putting the onus on the applicant to submit all the information to y'all unbeknownst to what's required and paying the fee, and sit-down meeting, which I think y'all are open to say, these are the requirements. Do you have plans to pave parking, a landscape buffer? You're gonna be able to sprinkle the plants, or are you gonna have access to a public way? You're gonna have sidewalks for your customers to walk on? People don't know that are not in that field of expertise. And I think that's a failing. It's not just a failing of the Millington Planning Commission, it's a failing of Shelby County. It's always a failing because everybody assumes when you come in, you know what you're doing. Well, you don't. You don't.
In this particular case, I can make clear that staff was unaware of the use expansion in general. In fact, construction was underway without a building permit until we made mention to owners and or business owners that, hey, you've got to get a building permit through Shelby County. So they did that, right? And then we assumed that they were going to use the available parking that was already there.
For a while.
And did for a while. And then gravel parking comes down. Well, there's no way for us to know until the gravel parking is coming down in order to alert the business owner that, hey, this is not appropriate according to the ordinance. If a business owner or a property owner or a developer comes in and says, hey, this is what I want to do in terms of landscape company or a nursery, staff would absolutely sit down and provide with them at least some guidelines and framework of what that looks like for your business to exist within code. That's our job. We're going to do that. But we can't if things are going on without our knowledge. That's correct.
Any more questions? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Board Member Allen,
I'm sorry, what
Okay.
was the motion?
Oh, right, excuse me, there's no motion discussion. We need a motion to accept or turn down this proposal. Correct, staff.
I make a motion to reject it.
Second, do I have a second? Second. Okay, now, excuse me, I'm getting the cart before the horse, I apologize. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Board Member Allen,
Here. Oh, nay.
Board Member Beckham,
Nay.
Board Member Hurt,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. For clarification.
Yeah.
And this got a little confusing. So the motion is to be in the affirmative. We try to always, because it gets confusing on the vote. I think the motion was technically to turn down. So if you're voting no, you're voting for it. Yes, so it's confusing. So if we could amend the motion is to approve in a second, just for clarification. Then if you're voting yes, you're voting yes for the project. You're voting nay, you're voting no for the project. Do you understand right now? If voting no on a negative, you're actually voting yes. So just for clarification.
So we need to redo the motions, what you're saying?
Yes, yes, please.
So we need a motion to approve this project. And
I'll
a
make a
second.
motion, we approve the project.
Second. So we need a second. Just for this one, vote.
I second.
Okay, so now, roll call, so now. Oh, no, we vote.
Yeah, a yes vote is for the project, a no vote is against the project.
Now we'll try roll
Okay.
call again. I'm sorry. We're all new to this.
Board Member Allen,
No.
Board Member Beckham,
No.
Board Member Hurt,
Yes.
Board Member Purser,
No.
Board Member Spearman.
No.
The noes have it.
Anything else from staff tonight? And I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, just one last thing outside of the meeting. I need for the Board of Zoning Appeals members to stay for the Planning Commission, as you are part of the steering committee for the comprehensive plan, and you guys will want to see the presentation by our proposed vendor. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We will convene the Planning Commission at 6:35. We'll convene the Planning Commission at 6:35.
I'll make a motion.
First, second.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 20th, 2026 Millington Planning Commission. Appreciate everyone that has hung around for the duration. It's on a chair roll call.
Commissioner Huffman,
Here.
Commissioner Dagan,
Here?
Commissioner Bakken,
Here.
Commissioner Thornburg,
Here.
Commissioner Morgan,
Here.
Commissioner Hurt,
Here.
and Commissioner Barber.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes for the June 15th. Oh, pardon. Back up. Approval of the agenda. Everybody had a chance to look over the agenda.
So many.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Approval of the minutes for June 15th, 2026 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Has everyone had a chance to look these over? No comments, additions, corrections? With the motion, all in favor, please say aye. Nays? The ayes have it. Public comments are none, so we'll move on to number 6, staff sign report.
I apologize, I'm a little behind. Planning staff received 3 sign applications for sign review during the July 2026 application period. The requests were for 2 wall signs and a refacing of the monument sign. Millington Pond, situated at 4779 Navy Road, requested a reface for the monument sign. They did not make any changes to the square footage or base of the structure. The application was approved. This is more just maintenance. Excuse me if I say this wrong. Cove Martial Arts, situated at 8131 Highway 51 North, requested 1 wall sign. The sign is designed using channel lettering with no backlighting. Each storefront is allowed to cover a minimum of 30 square feet, which is the total being requested. That application was approved. Core Pilates Studio, located at 8117 US Highway 51, requested a reface for an existing box sign. The square footage totals 27 square feet, and that sign was also approved. And that is the sign report.
Thank you. And that's administrative, so you require no vote, right?
Correct.
Anybody have any questions about sign report? Okay, moving on, number 7, staff site plan report. Mr. Cole?
Thank you. Similar to the sign report, the site plan report is just a review of our administrative review, site plans, and final plats that we do in-house. So you can see 3 listed there in the table. The first one being a repeat from last month, the Why Not Cigar and Sports Lounge. We're just awaiting revisions on the architectural elevations from the applicant. The second one is titled GTN Holdings LLC property. That's a property on Eli Street that will eventually have a new home on it. So they were just filing a plat for that property. So we reviewed it, giving them some revisions to do, and they actually just resubmitted today. So we'll be reviewing that this week. And then the last one on there is Smith Landing Flex Space, which is located at 9060 Highway 51. That's on the north end of our town. If you recall, there was a final plat for those two properties several months ago. And so they're just revising that plat to add a shared driveway easement in preparation for a new building in the near future. So happy to answer any questions on those if you have any at this time.
We'll scroll up to that last one. Is that one that's voted? So I'd like to get a look at that. Thank you. Any questions from the others?
I have one question. So I remember discussing the last one and we talked about that. So this is something that you can handle in-house, it's not on the back or?
That's correct. They're not altering any lot lines. They're just making a minor modification to add an easement. And so that's something we can do in-house according to our ordinance and regulations. Yes.
Okay, moving on, number 8. Application for sign design approval submitted by Valley Sign and Survey LLC.
Application for sign design approval submitted by Valley and Surveys LLC on behalf of Cindy Ardiaz, Park National Bank. The request is for a new monument sign. The subject property is located on the east side of US Highway 51 north of First Avenue. More specifically, parcel M0115008115C. The subject property is Zone B2, General Commercial, and located in the Highway 51 Sign Overlay District. The applicant has submitted a sign design packet for a new monument sign. The submitted material proposed consists of internally lit cabinet with an aluminum base. The applicant's sign design also includes the refacing of the existing ATM. This will match the new branding of this location. The applicant's overall designs, colors, and letter styles generally meet the guidelines set forth in the city's sign ordinance. The ground-mounted sign utilizes the acceptable signage of 44.19 square feet. The total allowed for the ground-mounted sign in the US Highway 51 overlay district is 50 square feet. The total height in the sign also falls well under the max height of 20 feet allowed for the Highway 51 overlay. Staff does not find the aluminum base to be a sustainable material for the base of the sign. Findings have shown that it does not hold up to wear and tear over time and recommends a more sustainable base. No documentation was submitted for the setback of the sign. The applicant did not submit a landscaping plan as they are using the existing landscaping as one is not needed for this applicant. Recommendations, staff recommends the motion for approval with conditions. Condition 1 is to use a more sustainable base for the ground mounted sign that matches the primary building structure. And number 2, provide documentation for the required 15-foot setback from the curb edge. This is our staff report for this sign. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer those.
We have a motion. Sign.
I make a motion to approve with staff conditions.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Base material will be brick on the sign.
When I spoke to the applicant earlier today, they did not necessarily let me know, but I did recommend to them that we could possibly, they could provide it to staff for us for approval in-house, if that is something that the board will allow.
But the existing building.
Is correct, sorry.
So it's going to, should match.
It should match, yes. It's, through our, through doing the code enforcement and all that with our signs, we've just found throughout the city, the ones that have the aluminum base at ground level end up with significant wear and tear damage over time. And sometimes it's and sometimes it's overlooked by mistake. And so we just find that it's better to have a more sustainable base for maintenance.
So what happens? I don't want.
So in our guide, well, I mean, they have the right to leave it with the aluminum. It's just over time, what would happen is if the maintenance of it is not maintained, it would require code enforcement.
Other questions? Now, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to number 9, application for Tennessee College of Applied Technology and Aviation, site plan and design review.
Yes, that's me. Thank you. This is an application for Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Aviation, Site Plan Design Approval submitted by Joel Johnston of Burr & Cole Consulting Engineers Incorporated on behalf of Dr. Gwendolyn Sutton of Tennessee College of Applied Technology. Subject property is located west of Veterans Parkway, more specifically parcel M0115, A00061. The subject property is zoned MP Planned Industrial District. So this proposed development consists of 49,000 square foot of aviation-related educational buildings situated on approximately 36.7 acres, conveniently located adjacent to the Moncton Memphis Airport. And the facility support workforce development and technical education in the aviation sector. I'll pause for just a moment. So it says presentation at the end of it. That's great. Thank you so much. So as you can see on the screen, there's renderings of the TCAT aviation facility. So overall, the submitted site layout adequately accommodates the operational needs of aviation maintenance, technology and avionics programs, including adequate building area, aircraft, maneuvering space, vehicular access, and parking, all while maintaining compatibility with surrounding land uses. This development aligns with ongoing efforts of the city to expand educational opportunities and strengthen local workforce pipeline. In particular here, it's in high demand technical fields associated with aviation maintenance and operations. So moving on to analysis of the site parking, traffic circulation, and sidewalks. The site's vehicular traffic are served by one ingress and egress access point at Veterans Parkway. The site provides 2 parking lots with a total of 272 regular parking stalls, plus 8 van accessible handicap parking stalls at the front of the building. In addition, there are 2 EV charging stations near the front of the building. The typical parking stall is 9 foot wide and 18 foot long. The vehicle circulation patterns provide 25 foot wide drive aisles as well as 25 foot curb radii, which provide acceptable maneuverability for drivers. And in addition, the entrance, south parking lot, and outdoor maintenance area provide heavy duty concrete pavement, which is strong enough and wide enough drive aisles to accommodate interstate semi-trailers as well as side stacker trucks for accessibility and safety purposes. The site also provides sidewalks ranging from 5 to 8 feet in width, which provide access to the building from the public right-of-way on Veterans Parkway and each parking lot on site. The submitted materials include all necessary notes for ensuring ADA compliance at all sidewalks, ramps, and flatworks across the site. So overall, planning staff finds that the site's parking, traffic, circulation, and sidewalks provide safe and efficient access to the proposed facility. One optional enhancement that we would like to recommend is to the site's pedestrian network, would be including a pedestrian pathway connecting to the patrol road on the west side of the property. Since this existing patrol road serves as the alignment of the first phase of the future Millington Greenway, a connection here would provide an excellent recreational opportunity for TCAT students and staff. So moving on to the drainage plan, the site is designed to adequately accommodate all stormwater runoff by utilizing 3 detention ponds. The northernmost pond is designed as a permanent pond, and so it would hold a minimum of 5 foot of water, while the other 2 ponds serve as temporary detention ponds with no permanent pool. There's also flex mat swell liners that are used to gently convey stormwater runoff to the detention ponds and outfall locations while minimizing drainage erosion across the site. And just a couple notes on the calculations. For a 25-year storm, the site's pre-development discharge is 68 cubic feet per second, and its post-development discharge is 66 cubic feet per second, which means overall the development storm drainage system reduces the total amount of stormwater discharge and provides adequate stormwater management for the site. Moving on to the building form and materials, which you'll see on the architectural elevations. If you scroll down just a little bit further, the proposed building exhibits contemporary institutional architectural character that combines durable materials with a clearly articulated building form. Catherine, could you scroll down just a tad more to get to the elevations? Just a little bit further. Thank you. The overall massing is organized into a series of vertical components, utilizing changes in planes, materials, and textures to create visual interest and reduce the perceived scale of the building. The building is comprised of 2 stories in the front and 1 story in the back, which indicates wings of classrooms, laboratories, and offices integrated along the edges of the large hangar. The exterior materials palette we have here. And it consists of a combination of the masonry and metal wall panels, which will be used on the building. They consist of majority earth tone colors and grade colors with also a ultramarine blue accent, which would integrate TCAT's branding into elements of the building. The front entrance of the building provides a transparent double height glass curtain wall framed by a projecting canopy. The canopy is supported by slender vertical columns and extends outward to create a covered main entrance for the facility. Also under this canopy, the second floor provides an outdoor rooftop patio space with chairs, tables, and planters for students and employees to enjoy their breaks outdoors while still in the building. There are also vertical window groupings that are regularly spaced along the south elevation or the front of the building. And the north elevation or back of the building utilizes various shades of gray and silver across its masonry and metal materials to provide a sleek, light industrial architectural character. And similar to the front of the building, there are vertical windows that allow natural lighting into the interior spaces. The roof is mostly flat with some extended overhangs to contribute to its modern aesthetic. The roof design effectively integrates charcoal metal screens to shield all rooftop mechanical units from the public right-of-way. In addition, the plans illustrate the dumpster enclosures to be constructed of the same masonry and metal materials that you see before you as the primary building. The dumpster enclosure elevation associated details effectively shield the dumpster and successfully integrate into the overall architecture of the building. So overall, the building presents a cohesive appearance characterized by contemporary materials, a clearly defined entry, articulated massing, and a balanced facade composition appropriate for an educational facility. So planning staff finds that the building meets and exceeds the city's design guidelines, providing a quality building design with durable materials. Moving on to landscaping plan, it provides a comprehensive list of plants and materials, including specifications of their location, caliber, and spread. A mix of trees, shrubs, perennials, and ground covers are proposed across the site, particularly along its perimeter and within the parking lot islands to break up expansive rows of parking spaces. The street trees along Veterans Parkway are proposed as chestnut oaks with 2-inch caliber trunks spaced at 60 foot on center. Planning staff recommends that all street trees shall be at least 3-inch caliper upon planting and spaced at 40 foot on center. And in addition, these street trees shall be placed so that they will not interfere with the overhead utility lines or sidewalks along Veterans Parkway, of course. So these trees, shrubs, and grass are majority native species and should thrive with the appropriately installed irrigation system. There's also sod is illustrated to be installed along the perimeter of the building and parking areas, with hydroseeded grass areas stabilizing the rest of the site. So overall, planning staff finds that the landscape plan generally meets the city's design guidelines, providing approximately 150 trees of various species, along with hundreds of shrubs and perennials across the site. Moving on to the lighting plan. The applicant provided a lighting plan and its associated photometric plan with exterior luminaire specifications. The proposed lighting poles range from 14 to 24 foot in height, constructed of steel with a black powder coat finish. The poles feature a full cutoff or 90-degree angle lighting fixtures with appropriate foot candles for their specified locations. And in addition, there are bollards with a height of 3 feet that are proposed around the main entrance of the building to provide pedestrian scale lighting at its entrance. So overall, planning staff finds that the lighting and photometric plans align with the city's design guidelines. Moving on to life safety, the site's entrance, as noted, and its south parking lot and outdoor maintenance area provide adequate space to accommodate interstate semi-trailers as well as side stacker trucks for accessibility and safety purposes. In addition, there are fire hydrants that are located around the building such that fire hoses can reach all corners of the building. Upon review, one request emerged from the Millington Fire Department, which is to move the fire department connection, or FDC, off the face of the building so that it can be remote controlled. And then also a note on signage for the property. The architectural renderings that you saw did show TCAT signage on the exterior faces of the building. However, as you're probably familiar, the planning commissioners should not note, or they should note, that the official signage package will be considered in a separate sign design application at a later date. So that leads me to the recommendation that staff recommends a motion to approve this site plan and design application for Tennessee College of Applied Technology Aviation, consisting of 36.7 acres situated on parcel M0115A00061, upon finding that the submitted site plan conforms to the zoning ordinance and design guidelines for the city of Millington, subject to the following conditions. 1, improvements are to be the responsibility of the developer and not the responsibility of the city of Millington. 2, all utilities and services such as electric, telephone, cable, etc. are to be installed underground. The water service lines shall be installed with tracing wire at the top. 3, all street trees shall be at least 3-inch caliper upon planting and spaced at 40 foot on center. In addition, these street trees shall be placed so that they will not interfere with overhead utility lines or sidewalks along Veterans Parkway. And 4, the fire department connection shall be moved off the face of the building so that it can be remote controlled. And then, of course, there's the optional condition that was mentioned earlier, number 5, a pedestrian pathway to be included to connect the patrol road on the west side of the property, providing connection to the future Millington Greenway. So as I close, I just want to give a special thanks to the design team and TCAT from the design team, including but not limited to Joel Johnson of Burr & Cole, as well as Tamara Redburn of 4F Design. And then also a special thanks to Dr. Gwendolyn Sutton from TCAT for all of their hard work over the last 8 or so months during this process. So that concludes my report for the site plan and design application. Happy to answer any questions, and if you have any questions for the applicant, I believe they're here as well. Thank you.
So a quick question before I ask for a motion on this. When we say design, are we including engineering? Because typically we have site plan and engineering plan and the final plat.
It's all together.
It's all together. So we'll have this in 2 votes.
Sure. What?
The site plan in this vote, and then the final plat in the item.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your question and the clarification. For this particular agenda item, it is site plan, landscape plan, lighting plan, exterior elevations, and all the associated engineering drawings.
All design elements.
That's correct. And there will be a second agenda item following this for the actual final plat.
Okay. Thank you. So do we have a motion to approve this site plan design motion? Is that the motion? And second?
Second.
Said it first. Okay, motion and second. Does the applicant wish to speak? Yes, sir. Give your name and address, please. And may have a question from the planning commission. Okay.
My name is Joel Johnson. I'm a civil engineer for this project. My address is 2437 Madison Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee.
My name's Tamara Redburn. I'm from Far Off Design. I'm the architect for this project. My address is 16 South Greece in Memphis.
I just have very few items I want to discuss here rather quickly. We are certainly very appreciative of all the assistance that the town of Millington has given us to prepare these drawings. We've met with them every other week for 4 or 5 months, and they really helped us out and helped get this project.
It's an impressive set of plans.
Yeah. Well, that's because we had some good oversight, your local guys did. There is one thing in the conditions, and honestly, it's not that much. We had, our architectural plan shows 2-inch caliper trees along Veterans Parkway. We had that comment. We asked him to research that. He indicated that the 3-inch trees were going to be very difficult to find, and asked if we could go with the 2.5-inch caliper tree along Veterans Parkway. So we're hoping that's not an issue, and y'all would consider that for approval in the approval process.
Staff's okay with that.
So 2.5 inches easier to get than it was 3.
It's more typical for commercial construction, and it's a little bit easier to install as well.
2.5 inch. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Does the owner have any issue with the optional condition of the pedestrian pathway?
The owner is actually tested Board of Regents, and we did show that sidewalk very early plan, and they would prefer not to put that sidewalk in. I will say that the design team would like to have it. TBR was more about the cost. We hope that toward the end of the project, if we have some money left over, then that's something that we would implement. Because I agree, I think it's a great idea.
So, Mr. Chairman, on that note, can I ask a general question that doesn't pertain to this particular project, but it's about the greenway and access to that? Because the greenway's been formed all along, and the patrol road was sort of, a nice discovery that goes with the development of this. And do we have any parameters? Because I'm thinking down the road, so if we look at the concrete plant, their property's fenced off. Obviously, they have industrial machinery there, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But I also want to be good neighbors to our friends using TCAT as an example. If they build the sidewalk with some funding toward the end of the project, what does that open us up to with them? Does their facility become a parking lot on the weekends for people who don't want to park at Discovery Park and want to start halfway down the greenway? Have we given any thought to access and regulation of that all along those properties? This just happens to be the first one.
Sure, that's a great question. There has been a lot of thought to it. Of course, at this time, there's no actual right-of-way dedicated for the greenway, so that doesn't exist. But as far as access from, let's call it private properties where you wouldn't want people parking there from the public, gates and some kind of access system. So for an institution like TCAT, the idea there would be that they could have badges that they may use for the building that could be associated with the gate. That's a higher cost, of course. And so I guess it would be up to the property owner to decide kind of access they want to provide to the greenway. But as far as there would be a public trailhead not far from that location in this particular example for the greenway as well, that would serve as public parking in that area.
So those are plans for the greenway that we just haven't gotten to yet. I wanted to make sure, because I want us to not infringe on our tenants who are going to be developing this land, but also have plenty of public access.
Most definitely. Sure. On the greenway plan that has been presented, there are locations there called trailheads. And so each of those trailheads have potential parking areas. I think the phase 1 just definitely has a trailhead that's IDB owned land that the intention there is for there to be a parking lot. And then other trailheads include at existing public places like Discovery Nature Park or near the ball fields off of Jack Huffman and so on.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So could we possibly, in the development agreement, there is one on this? Might be one.
No public improvements.
I was gonna say, maybe we make that optional to when the greenway path comes in, then they make their connection to it, but, yeah, no development agreement. So we need to decide if we want to try to press this option.
It's a great idea, and I really, really love the fact that the Greenway becomes accessible to anybody and everybody within that area. I agree with Ms. Huffman when it comes to that parking. We want to make sure that we're not creating situations for you guys. I would say, first of all, the 2.5 inch, we'll go with that. And let's leave this to be later discussed. We could do this later and make sure that, because I'm sure that once the Greenway really gets going, that the TCAT's going to want.
They're gonna want it,
involved. Okay, so I would just say that the optional condition just go away.
Okay, should I, do something to change staff conditions, or are we good with just?
If I may, Mr. Chair, if the motion is to approve, you would just approve with conditions 1 through 4.
With a modification.
With the modification of 2.5 inch caliber trees.
So on the landscaping plan, what's the setback of those trees from veterans? And the purpose of my question is, we went through a whole host of where we plant trees on Highway 51 when it was being built out with a lot of the commercial development on the north end of town. And there were a lot of trees that could grow to very tall heights planted underneath power lines. And I know we don't have as much of an issue on veterans with that, but we do still have some site issues with businesses when you try to pull out of the parking lot. And given that this is the northernmost parcel on Veterans where the curve is, I just want to make sure there's enough of a setback that we don't have traffic issues with people trying to come out of the parking lot onto Veterans with people doing 45 miles an hour around the.
So the center line of the trees are 40 to 45 feet from the sidewalk. They're well off the sidewalk. And well away from the power lines as well. Thank you for the question.
Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Ready. We're just gonna remove the optional condition at this point. There's no other
And
question.
modification. The modification has to be included.
$2.5.
Motion to.
Okay. Yeah, if we're gonna do that, we'll modify the motion later.
Other than motion is with the 2.5 inch trees and removing the optional condition.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay. Y'all are good with that?
Yes.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, all in favor, please say aye. Nays? The ayes have it. Moving on to number 10, Mr. Yoder.
This is an application for Tennessee College of Applied Technology Aviation, final plat approval, submitted by Joel Johnson of Vernon Cole on behalf of Dr. Gwendolyn Sutton of TCAT. The subject property is located west of Veterans Parkway, more specifically parcel M0115A00061, and subject property is an MP planned industrial district. Y'all are familiar with the property that was just presented on. It's the same one. This is the final plat for this particular property. A brief history on the entitlements for this. At this time, the entire property is owned by the Militant Industrial Development Board, or IDB. However, on February 26, 2026, the IDB approved the sale of the property with the condition that the TCAT facility shall have acquired a building permit from Shelby County within a year from the sale transaction date. So therefore, the property is prepared for a streamlined sale process at the convenience of the purchaser's preferred timeline. As for a note on stormwater detention for the final plat, the plat illustrates the three areas reserved for stormwater detention, aligning with the detention ponds that were proposed in the site design application for this property. In order to provide sufficient documentation for these areas, planning staff recommends that each area is reserved for stormwater detention shall include a label specifying its acreage. And in addition, these detention ponds, the site design utilizes open channel ditches to convey stormwater off-site. Since these areas are essential for proper drainage of the site, planning staff recommends that these areas reserved for stormwater conveyance shall be illustrated on the plat and included in the note to prevent building within these areas. A note on public infrastructure, as we stated earlier, there are no required improvements to the public streets, sidewalks, drainage, or utility infrastructure for this property and intended development. So therefore, all improvements are considered private. And then a miscellaneous note, in general, the provided geometry and specifications for the plat conform to the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations for the city of Millington, with the exception of just a few labeling and graphical inconsistencies. So planning staff recommends that the following updates be used to enhance the plat document's overall readability, which include 1, rotating all text to be oriented horizontal, 2, indicating the property's zoning as MP planned industrial, and 3, including a written boundary description. So that leads me to the recommendation that staff recommends a motion to approve the final plat application for Tennessee College of Applied Technology Aviation, consisting of 36.7 acres situated on parcel M0115A00061, upon a finding that the submitted plat conforms to the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations for the city of Millington, subject to the following conditions. 1, improvements are to be the responsibility of the developer and not the responsibility of the city of Millington. 2, all utilities and services, electric, telephone, cable, etc., are to be installed underground. The water service line shall be installed with tracing wire at the top. 3, each area reserved for stormwater detention shall include a label specifying its acreage. 4, areas reserved for stormwater conveyance shall be illustrated on the plat and included in the note to prevent building within these areas. And 5, label and graphical inconsistencies shall be updated in accordance with planning staff comments to enhance the plat's documents' overall readability. So again, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do you have a motion on final plat with these 5 conditions?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does the applicant wish to speak to any of these conditions? Anybody have any questions?
I have one, and I think it's really regarding the sale. I just want to make sure, and this goes back several years. I was the liaison from the Board of Alderman to the IDB. And at that point, a developer from Nashville, Panatone, had an option to purchase all of these lots that were in the Industrial Development Board property. And they spent money in some instances to get them economic development certified, if you will, as shovel ready, whatever that terminology is. And I just wanted to know, did the city exercise its option to pull this out of that, or did that already expire so that that's no longer an issue? I just want to make sure that the city or the IDB don't have to pay back any costs, since we're the ones selling it and not Panatone, and it doesn't have a financial implication we haven't fully vetted. I know that's different, but it mentions the sale in here, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
Right. Are you aware of that? I'm not aware. So.
I'm going to speak to that on a half knowledge basis.
That's better than my quarter knowledge.
Okay.
So go right ahead.
I feel like that this portion was not a part of the Panatone option. I feel like that was further south.
Yeah, there was a point where, and I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 lots that were in the Panatone group, and I think you may be onto something, but I don't have that documentation with me, unfortunately, and it's a moot point for approving the final plat. I just want to make sure that it's incorporated in any sale documents if it needs to be. So.
where the concrete plant is, was that a
Same thing.
Pantone lot?
Same thing.
So,
So there were specific lots that Pantone picked, I mean, when the IDB decided to market all that property, Pantone had an option for certain lots with the understanding that the reason they were bidding on that is they were going to invest money to get them qualified as shovel-ready for economic
but they
development.
never executed.
And Pantone never sold any of the lots, but I also don't know what, if any, costs they, the lots do have some improvements on them, but I don't know if that was already paid back by the IDB or if they never moved forward with enough of it that it's, I just want to make sure that doesn't get caught up somewhere that Pantone comes back with a bill to say, hey, we didn't sell this, so let's make sure we get our money back. That's probably a better question for the IDB's attorney.
Yes, that doesn't, it's a great question. It doesn't prevent us from going ahead.
No, it doesn't prevent us from doing this. It's just because the sale was mentioned in here. I just want to make sure we don't have any financial consequences somewhere for somebody.
I'm happy to reach out to the IDB attorney and
Okay.
see if,
Yeah, to Jared's point, it may not have even been included in that. I just want to make sure. Because those improvements could be expensive. So, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We have a motion on the floor for approval with 5 conditions. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. And moving on to number 11, application for bond approval. Moved by Lloyd How you say that?
Lamica. That's me again. Yes, this is an application for a bond approval submitted by Roy Lamica, EFI Global, on behalf of Connor McGrory, of Most Dependable Fountains. The request is to approve the bond amount for the Most Dependable Fountains subdivision's public infrastructure improvements. The subject property is located on the east side of Old Millington Road and south of Router Drive, more specifically parcel number M0125000677. For planning commissioners, you're familiar with this property as engineering and site design applications were approved by you all on March 16th of this year, and the revision of its final plat was approved just a couple months ago on May 18th of this year. Since then, all planning commission conditions of approval have been addressed by the applicant as far as revisions to the plans. So this request is to approve the bond amount of $114,017.00 for the Most Dependable Subdivision's public infrastructure improvements, which includes approximately 80 foot of roadway, the extended Router Drive. So you can see the opinion of probable cost has been attached here for reference. We've also included the final plat that shows the right-of-way dedication. So this item is ultimately for you all to recommend this bond amount to the board for their approval ultimately. Happy to answer any questions. And our city engineers here as well, if you have any questions for him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion to recommend this bond amount to the board?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 12. I'll let you text them here too.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ethics training, August 31st, 6 p.m., Baker Community Center, Food, Fun, and Fellowship. Planning commissioners, you have to be there. Not much choice. Got to have your annual ethics training. So, in all seriousness, this is a great opportunity to fellowship with your fellow board members and colleagues across your different civil service areas, and also with staff and pick up your required training for the state. So that's the 5th Monday of August. Looking forward to having everyone there. Our next item is our comprehensive plan presentation for RFP by Freese and Nichols. What I'd like to do now, Mr. Chair, is have everybody squeeze in and be Titan friends. We've got 2 vacant chairs to the left of Commissioner Barber. We have 2 chairs to the rear. Why don't we go ahead and have our second half of our steering committee, the Board of Zoning Appeals, come on up to the dais and have a seat while we're prepping the presentation. So if you're a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals, please come on up for the presentation. Chair.
We're ready.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. If we're ready for the vendor to begin the presentation.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Wendy Bonneau. I'm a principal with Freese and Nichols. We are super excited to be here tonight to go through a presentation on what you can hopefully expect from our firm. We're delighted to be selected as the preferred firm to do this very important project for you, for your comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance. So I know you all have the proposal and you've seen information, but just want to give you a quick overview of Freese and Nichols, and then we're going to introduce our team and go through our project approach and again, what you can expect from us. So in terms of Freese and Nichols, we are a firm that was founded in 1894. We do architecture, engineering, and planning across all of the Southeast United States. We have about 1,400 folks within our firm. We have 60 planners within our firm, which is a really pretty large amount for an urban planning and design firm. We focus primarily on municipalities, and so we're super excited to be here. A lot of national expertise that we bring to this project. We've done a lot of comprehensive plans and zoning ordinances, and we're very proud of you all for doing both of these and looking at these 2 things together, because they're very important to be able to create a vision for your community and then also the regulatory backing behind that to be able to see your vision through. So that's a little bit about Freese and Nichols. We are super excited to be partnered with John Zena with Interval. I think many of you probably know John. He's done a lot for the city of Millington. He's worked for the city of Memphis. Just coming off the heels of a national award-winning comprehensive plan, worked with Shelby County, has got a lot of local knowledge. He worked on your greenprint plan. He's worked on various things in and around this community. And so we're very excited that he brought this to us. We're working on some other projects around the Tennessee area, and he brought that in. So you've got a national team with a lot of local expertise as a part of this. So just looking at just the team and who you're going to see, my job as the principal in charge to make sure that we are getting you an excellent plan
as a part of this. We're meeting, making sure we've got all the resources and needs for that. We have Danny Wilson with us. Danny will be your day-to-day project manager. He has been on your side. He's been a planning director for cities. He's also had his own firm, and then he leads our all of our work within the Southeast. He's based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And so he'll be your day-to-day project manager. John Zena, I already mentioned him, but he'll be working closely with us as our local liaison, certainly on implementation and policy. Chance Sparks is our group manager. He will serve as a senior advisor. And then we've got Erica and Alexis, who both senior planners with our firm. We've worked together for a long time. They're very, very excellent, great quality folks. So with that, I want to turn it over to Danny to talk about our approach.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us this evening. As Wendy mentioned, we're very excited to be here with you. So just real brief overall approach for our project. So we believe all good planning should start with engagement, and that's where we would start with Chen as well. So at the beginning of the project, we would have a customized engagement plan that we'll work with you all, steering committee with staff, to make sure we're coming up with the best possible engagement options for the community. Throughout the whole project, both pieces will have close coordination with staff as well, also with the steering committee. The comprehensive plan we want to make sure is implementation focused, so that will be the main driver of the comprehensive plan. And then the zoning ordinance we want to make sure is approachable and user friendly. And throughout the whole project, you'll have careful project management and overall updates as we move forward. So specifically looking at the comprehensive plan, we want to make sure it is forward-looking and also, as I mentioned, implementation focused. We want it to be used by applicants, staff, elected officials, appointed officials. We want this plan to be used and sitting on the desk, not on a bookshelf somewhere. So this is something that we want everyday use. We want to have clear steps and goals and policies in it to help drive forward other policies and initiatives with the city. So our approach for comprehensive planning, as Wendy mentioned, blending national best practices with local knowledge. We find this is the best way to come up with a plan that is usable and helps drive the community forward. We want to have creative and dynamic community engagement throughout this process. We want the regular citizens and business owners and stakeholders to be excited about this. It is an exciting process. We want to make sure our goals that are created in this process are community driven. They should reflect the best of Millington and how Millington wants to move forward in the next 20 years. We'll have collaborative staff discussions across every single department. We want to make sure we understand how the city operates, how the departments coordinate with each other for CIP planning and other items, because we want this project to have long-term benefits for the community and also have practical implementation steps so that implementation can happen. We don't want just a laundry list of implementation ideas. We want practical goals that you can see happen in real life. And during the comprehensive planning process, we'll have regular updates, again, with you all. The zoning ordinance is a little bit different. So, of course, comprehensive plan is large, vision, much easier to understand for the community to get behind. The zoning ordinance is really down in the weeds, as we all just saw, looking at site plans, looking at tree calibers, looking at setbacks. That can get very challenging for the general public, so we customize our engagement approach for that. We really want to make sure public input drives the content of the ordinance, but doing the comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance together helps provide robust engagement for both aspects of the plan without running into public engagement fatigue. But at the end of the day, the zoning ordinance, we want to make sure we deliver is easy to administer for staff, easy to understand for appointed and elected officials, easy to use for applicants, and it carefully regulates development to achieve community goals. Throughout this process as well, we'll have detailed staff discussions. This is where we get down really into the weeds with staff to understand the ins and outs of development here. We want to make sure the standards and processes are approachable and easy to use for every applicant coming through the door. We'll blend best practices with modern standards as well, because land use and development change over time. So we want to make sure we're bringing in the newest and best to lead you forward. And then, of course, this project needs to achieve comprehensive plan goals that we've just established during that process. So as Wendy mentioned, this is great to combine the two and make sure the zoning ordinance blends in with the comprehensive plan to move those initiatives forward. And again, we'll have very close coordination throughout this process with steering committee and staff. So looking at public engagement, we recognize there's a wide spectrum of how people get their news and how people are notified of activities occurring. We have a dial here on the screen. Some people prefer all virtual, so we have virtual tools we provide. Some provide in person or are interested in person and hear about things from newsletters or mailers or flyers that are posted. Some people read newspapers still, some people get app notifications. We want to make sure we're pushing out information on all venues to ensure transparency and community engagement. With that, we have a very broad and robust engagement toolbox. We offer customized plans, as I mentioned, for every community because every community is unique. We want to make sure we're doing what fits Millington when we come here for engagement. So you can see on the screen here, we have a wide range of tools we use. At the end of the day, we want to make sure our engagement is fun, it's collaborative, people feel engaged, they feel welcome, because we really truly want community input. The worst thing we can have is no input. We want more input than we can, the more input we get, the better the plan will be. So we will make sure that we are meeting people where they need to be met and getting input through a wide variety of tools. So specifically for Millington, we believe that is smaller scale, more intimate meetings. We have done coffee chats, we've done walks down different parts of our community to learn about that area in particular. We've done classroom engagements with students. Again, looking at comprehensive plan, this is looking at the next 20 years. The high schoolers hopefully are the ones that will be leaders in the community at that point in time. So we want to make sure we understand what they want to see in the community and what would bring them back or keep them here. We do a lot of different engagement at booths for pop-up events, at festivals and things like that. So we have a wide range of virtual interactive tools that we can provide as well to make sure that anyone who wants to participate virtually can do so. So really, we want to make sure we're providing the best possible engagement for the residents and business owners and stakeholders for the community. And we'll work with you all on what that looks like and have those conversations early on. And with that, I'll turn it over to John to talk implementation.
John Zena, I'm excited to be a part of this project, to have a chance to work in this community again, to be working with such a great national firm that has done so much across the Southeast in communities like Millington, and brings the track record that they do to this project. As Wendy and Danny have said numerous times, one of the things that our approach is going to focus on is implementation. And one of the ways that we're doing that is not to wait until the end of the process to start thinking about implementation, but to actually begin thinking about it from the beginning. It's important for a successful comprehensive plan to not wait until the end to think about what needs to be implemented, but to begin at the beginning and thinking about how implementation of a plan happens and who is participating in the implementation of a successful plan. So you've already made the decision to pair your comprehensive plan with a zoning code update, and that's a very important step in order to ensure that the regulatory framework of implementing your comprehensive plan is done so seamlessly. And so I applaud you for that. There are other ways that we need to be working on and will be working on incorporating implementation from the beginning, thinking about how your investment decisions, your financial decisions, budget decisions are impacted by recommendations in the comprehensive plan, who needs to be a part of that. The role of the various departments that you have within the city, their participation in implementation, and the importance of having them at the table from the beginning. We were, I think, all very pleased when we walked into the interview room and saw representatives from so many different departments sitting around the table participating in interviews. That goes to show that this city is already thinking about the broad responsibilities of the city and its departments in having a hand in how a comprehensive plan is shaped and implemented. And so bringing together those stakeholders from within the city, thinking about how implementation happens through their agencies and the work that they do is incredibly important to ensure successful implementation of a comprehensive plan. Just as we're thinking about engagement, engaging business owners, community members, developers within the area, who may be in the area, because ultimately so much of what is recommended in a comprehensive plan is implemented by private sector stakeholders. So making sure that they too are a key part of our engagement from the beginning. One of the things that the staff asked us to look at was how, particularly on the zoning code, how that gets expressed through an online platform. So taking the zoning code off of maybe the book page and expressing it through a website, the different ways that that can happen. There are a lot of new and dynamic tools that can be used. Our recommendation is that we work with staff and work with you all as we get into the project to look at what are the needs of the community, not just the staff and not just the boards, but also the community at large in terms of how you all may want to interact with not only the zoning code, but the plan, and what are the ways that that can be done through the digital environment. There are existing platforms that can be leveraged. We'd like to work with you to explore those. What we recommend is we just start thinking about this from the most flexible solution, which would be a hyperlinked interactive PDF, and sort of work from there. There's a lot of, like I said, products that are out there that we can explore together, but that's a decision that I think we need to work on as we get into the process. Finally, just to conclude, what you can expect from us. I think Wendy and Danny have done a great job talking about the expertise that they bring as Freese and Nichols. Certainly the experience and track record that I have working in Shelby County is a key value of this team. But you also have a responsive, dedicated team, not just a project manager and Danny, that you can expect to be responsive and dedicated to this project, but also a local partner that you can expect to be responsive and dedicated to this project. The project will be completed on schedule. You can certainly expect that from us. We do have in-depth local knowledge, not only my own knowledge of working here at Shelby County and local government for over 20 years, but also Danny's, the project manager's experience working on both the public sector and the private sector. A comprehensive plan that is strong on implementation. Obviously, we've emphasized that several different times. It's meant for daily use. We want to make sure that what gets expressed through the comprehensive plan happens in your community. A zoning ordinance that's easy to administer helps to achieve the comprehensive plan. It's a key piece of implementation, but there's so much more that it's needed for in your day-to-day. And working, you can expect us to work to make sure that it's easy to administer for your goals. And overall, an exciting and enjoyable project experience. Just to conclude, as I sort of left my career in public sector and started to think about going into consulting, one of the projects that sort of popped up on my radar was this one. And I couldn't help but jump at the chance to be a part of working with the Millington community again. Obviously, the work that I got to do many years ago, leading the green print, which ultimately was big part of landing the federal dollars for the resilience grant for Big Creek, and the opportunity that I got to work with so many of you on that project was something that attracted me to be back here working on this project again. And I reached out to these folks at Freese and Nichols because I've got relationships with a lot of different firms across the Southeast, but I thought that the work that they do with municipalities and communities like Millington across the Southeast was, this project was well fit for their services and the work that they do. And I was pleased that they wanted to be a part of this, and certainly pleased that The staff saw fit to choose our team, to recommend to you, to recommend to the board, mayor and alderman, to be a part of this project. So thank you again for having us, and we look forward to answering any questions you have, and certainly look forward to being a part of this project.
Thank you, team. Mr. Chair, we'll turn this opportunity over to the steering committee for questions for both the vendor as well as staff, as well as we can answer.
So I really think everybody's kind of blown away about what we're going to expect. So anybody have any questions, comments? We're dumbfounded. How about that?
So I actually have a question for Mr. Darby.
Bethany's never dumbfounded.
Well, no, for those in the audience who may not have attended previous planning commission, could you just, like, 30-second executive summary of how we got to this point? And because I know there was a committee that we need to thank, of people who reviewed all of the proposals to reach this recommendation. So could we just have a real quick overview of that so that the public kind of understands how we got here tonight, please?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that. In a quick nutshell, city manager posted me to this position. It was immediately recommended that our 45-year-old ordinances be updated, along with our comprehensive plan that is more of a typical comprehensive plan of implementation and a book of statistics. Once senior leadership, as well as our steering committee and board of aldermen, agreed to that, we posted the amount of funding for this project in the CIP for this year and this fiscal year and next fiscal year. We issued an RFP to all the different planning channels and local advertisement requirements. We had 9 responses, if I remember correctly. A selection committee was brought together to review all RFPs. And that selection committee consisted of technical experts as well as outside organizations such as the airport manager who supported our efforts and hosted us. I also have to thank Director Wayne Cole as well as Director Amy Collier for participating in the selection committee, and the remaining staff members are part of the Office of Development and Infrastructure. We interviewed and checked references as a selection committee for the 2 finalists, which includes Friesen Nichols here. Our interviews lasted well over several hours. Each division and participant provided meaningful and thoughtful questions in regards to the comprehensive planning process. Ultimately, the selection committee chose to present Friesen Nichols to the steering committee, which is the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Planning Commission, for review and questions and answers before staff presents their RFP to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for approval.
Thank you.
That'll be next month. We will.
More than likely 2 months. We have to get a little contract together and some things to iron out.
So are you asking us to vote for a recommendation?
No, sir, not tonight.
Because this question, I don't think we have any authority over the zoning, board of zoning.
No, the question, this is just for, as you guys will access the steering committee, this is for you to hear the presentation and to ask questions. But ultimately, I would request from this body at the next planning commission hearing for a recommendation that I can present to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, that both the selection committee and the steering committee are holding hands and walking through this process together, presenting to the mayor, board of aldermen, that all boxes have been checked on such a, let's say, once in a lifetime opportunity in terms, or generational opportunity, to rewrite our regulations and to provide a comprehensive plan that guides the city's growth for the next 20, 40, 50 years.
Been needed for a long time.
Sure.
And you may think y'all talked about implementation too much, but I think none of us here want to see a plan that just sits on the desk somewhere and doesn't do anything. So
What's the timeline? 18 months, approximately. The proposed schedule, possibly 18 months.
You will be busy.
Why?
I'll look slate now.
Is this presentation something that can be posted on the website in the next couple of months so that folks in the community, since we want them to participate, maybe give them coming attractions and what we're gonna need from them so that we have a really good group of stakeholders at the table?
Yes, ma'am, Commissioner, I think that's a great idea. And what the vendor doesn't already understand is they'll be creating a website dedicated to providing information to the community in an interactive platform.
I almost asked about that, but I didn't want to put words.
Sure. But I know they're capable. I know they're going to do a great job. And I know that 18 months is difficult for just a comprehensive plan, but to add the additional criteria that the RFP called for is incredibly busy for all of us. But I have to remind this board and this commission and even our elected officials in the audience, in 2024, you had 13 applications. In 2025, you had 112. And it shows no signs of stopping. We're playing catch up.
You want to announce anything else before we adjourn?
If there are no further questions, I would like to invite the steering committee, selection committee, any industrial development board members that remain in the audience, as well as elected officials, and of course our vendors and our friends from TCAT as they play a role, as well as staff members right next door for an informal gathering and fellowship. There will be food and beverages available to you. And if you have some questions that you just couldn't think of right now, but as soon as you walk across the way and get a little bit of food in you, you may think of some questions. They'll be here to interact with you on a personal basis.
With that, I would ask planning commissioner to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We are. Thank you.
Yes.